Reducing taxes, reducing regulation, getting rid of Obamacare, Sarbanes-Oxley, for example, has cost us 10 million jobs and lost IPOs. Think about that. Think about the fact that businesses have not hired because of the looming threat of Obamacare that adds 160 new agencies. I believe that we have to protect our homeland. That sometimes even from our friends. Can everybody see what this is? This is China Daily. This is a free newspaper in all the economic centers in the country. It's given out for free, and from time to time you will see full-page advertorials in the Wall Street Journal. It looks like any other newspaper you've ever seen. In fact, if you turn your TV set on, China has a cable network. It's paid for by the Chinese government. Friends, there's a lot of messaging going on. We need people that understand the international issues that can see through some of that. In 2020, the Chinese will have the only manned space station above this planet. We don't. Today, the shuttle Discovery just landed to be put in the Smithsonian. Protecting the homeland doesn't just mean putting up walls. It means looking at the future threats, the ones that you haven't even heard of yet. I've got the scars to prove I'm serious about that. Preserving our conservative values, the preservation of marriage and the unborn, and finally, principled leadership. Term limits would end the culture of lobbyist corruption in Washington, and I want your help to implement them. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, gentlemen, for our closing statement next, we will go to Senator David Rouser. Senator Rouser, 2 minutes.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a great pleasure to be here with you tonight, and I want to address a couple things that came up a little earlier. Yes, I did go and raise PAC money for Jesse Helms, and I did so because he asked me to. He was in a tough re-election in 1996. Helms races are always tough re-elections. And I'd go tomorrow and raise money for Jesse Helms if it meant he could come back from the grave and go back to the U.S. Senate. If he was back in the U.S. Senate, we wouldn't have this mess today. So I am proud of my service for Senator Helms. I'm grateful for the opportunity that I had to work for him and to learn from him. And speaking on the immigration issue, you know, my opponent fails to mention that Senator Helms was a co-sponsor of the very bill that he had taxed me for. Not the same year, but almost the exact identical legislation. In 1999, Senate Bill 1814. The tobacco quota buyout, I'm proud of my work there too. My opponent may not understand how important that was for Eastern North Carolina and North Carolina in general. This state would be in a depression if we hadn't been able to get that achieved. And then finally, let me say, there's been much said about what I've done. The reason why I've done what I've done over the years was to help solve problems. When I left the Bush administration, some tobacco companies came to me. They said, David, they're trying to shove FDA regulation of tobacco down our throats. As a conservative, I was grateful to step forward and help to try to keep that from happening. Same thing on the immigration issue. The farmers came to me and said, David, we have a huge problem in this state. We can't get the labor that we need. I wasn't going to turn my back on them. My entire career, I've helped focus on solutions. This country needs people to step forward today that are focused on solutions, have the know-how to get it done. With my training under Senator Helms, with my experience in the state legislature, you have a good, strong, conservative record to look at. And you can ask anybody I've ever served with how I have achieved. I want this country to succeed. I want to prevail. The conservative cause must prevail if we're going to return to the principles of free enterprise and limited government. Thank you, and may God bless America.
Thank you, sir. And for his closing statement this evening, we will go to Mr. Randy Crow. Mr. Crow, 2 minutes.
Hey, thank you. Some may say I'm an also-ran and loser because I've lost 18 of 19 races I've entered. Yes, I would be if the country was improving. But the country has been going downhill since I ran. Then the national debt was $4.5 trillion. Now it's over $15 trillion. Gasoline $1 a gallon, now $4. 11 million illegal immigrants. The Attorney General says killing Americans, legal, constitutional. The military can engage in civilian law enforcement, indefinitely holding Americans without charges. Sheriff Arpaio proved to me Obama's long-form birth certificate and draft cards are fakes. Excuse me, But in the world we live, winning is losing and losing is winning. Say no to collectivism. May they please vote for me, Randy Crow. The better I do, the better things are doing. Collectivism, a definition of collectivism is an individual has reality only as part of a group and only value insofar as he or she serves it. Pretty depressing. Send me to Washington. I'll do what's constitutional, best for the district, what you tell me to do, and not what money says. Congress reduced Social Security withholding a third last year. That means Social Security has $240 billion less this year to pay its bills. This guarantees Social Security and seniors that depend on it will be insolvent one day unless contributions are reinstated. Mike voted against cutting Social Security. I'll vote to reinstate Social Security contributions and thus have a layup to beat Mike in November. Say no to collectivism. Please vote for me, Randy Crow, citizen politician, and watch the 1% free riders head for the hills. Thank you.